Hi everyone, it's Candace. I wanted to quickly come and make a video talking about my process of weaning cold turkey. My daughter is 11 and a half months old. She will be 1 year old probably in less than 2 weeks. So we're almost at the 1 year mark with our breastfeeding journey, and I would say probably around 9 months, between 8 and 9 months, I really started thinking more about weaning her and kind of getting into a place of counting down when the 1 year mark was going to come. Just a little history of our breastfeeding journey. I've breastfed Kylan since she was born. We really didn't have too many difficulties with breastfeeding. As soon as I delivered her, they laid her on my chest and she quickly latched. She just seemed to take right to it. The only issue that we had was while she was in the hospital, she did have newborn jaundice and my milk hadn't come in enough to be able to flush it. So we did supplement with a little bit of formula, but once we were kind of out of the clear with jaundice, we just, breastfeeding pretty much was easy. I mean, she was cluster feeding around the clock as a newborn, as most newborns do. And she's always just been very much into breastfeeding. We initially we started co-sleeping around 2 months old, between 2 and 6 months old, out of pretty much necessity because nothing else worked. She would not sleep anywhere else. And I discovered one night while nursing her in bed, I fell asleep and she slept really good. So we just started co-sleeping. And from that kind of routine, she always had access to the boob during sleep. And so she definitely began to associate, sleeping and, comfort and relaxation with nursing. Once we transitioned her to her crib at 6 months old, which was really not very hard at all, she still associated sleeping and anytime she woke in the middle of the night with needing the breast to comfort her back down. And that has just been kind of what we've been doing for, up until this point. So she does not sleep through the night, which means I have not gotten any sleep through the night since before she was born. So probably every 3 to 4 hours she wakes up and I go in, nurse her, and then she goes back down for another 3 to 4 hours. And that's just kind of been what we've been doing. Around 8 to 9 months, she definitely went through the distraction phase and she had it really, really bad. She did a lot of the popping on, popping off, breastfeeding for like 2 to 5 seconds and then leaving and then coming back and then wanting to, like, all of that. And it started getting so frustrating for me because it's very difficult, obviously, to breastfeed in public when she's just popping on and popping off. And I just felt like I want my body back. There's just things that when you're breastfeeding, it almost feels like pregnancy. Like, it almost feels like I've been pregnant for 2 years straight because my body is not my body alone. My body is providing nourishment and growth for another little human. And there are just so many still restrictions that I feel like I can't do with my body, just like with pregnancy. And I've just gotten to the point where I really want my body back. I want to be able to wear what I want to wear, and just not have to think about be consumed with my breasts, to be honest. She pretty much nurses for naps and at bedtime and then through the night. So that's pretty much her routine of nursing right now. And then she gets solids 3 times a day. Her routine with solids is she would kind of eat, nibble a little bit here, but immediately after she would always want the breast. And I realized it was kind of like, that food, that's fun, that's cute, but where's my real meal? So now she's starting to eat more solids as I started cutting back on feedings during the day. So Chris went out, he has a work trip for the next 3 days. So I told myself, this is the time to do it. Like, if I'm gonna wean, this is the time to do it. I did not want to do gradual weaning, even though I think that is the best choice for the baby. I didn't want to do it because I did not feel like that would work for Kylan. Kylan is kind of an all or nothing kind of person. So I knew that the gradual thing, like as long as she still had access to it, she was just gonna still, 5 months later, I was still just gonna be nursing. Like it wasn't gonna be an ending in sight type of thing unless I just kind of did it. So I did some research on kind of weaning cold turkey, and I decided that while Chris is away, this is the time to do it because I know there's gonna be crying. I know she's not gonna be happy about it. I know at night she's gonna, you know, be really cranky and, you know, struggling with trying to go to sleep without the boob. So I knew that I had to take this time to get it done. So this is day one. Last night was kind of the first night when I put her down for bed. She went down for bed around 7 o'clock. I tried not to nurse her, but she was not having it. I gave her a bottle of, tried to give her a bottle of almond milk, and she did not want anything to do with it. She was so angry, so angry. So finally, after just 30 minutes of fighting with her, I finally decided, okay, I'll go ahead and breastfeed you. And as she was nursing, I kind of talked to her and told her, like, this is the last time, like this is our last feeding, you know, like there's not going to be any more milk left after this. And she's just kind of looking at me like, okay. So she went to sleep. Like I said, that was around 7, and then around midnight, around 12:30, she woke up. And I told myself I'm gonna give it the 15 minutes where I'm not gonna respond for the first 15 minutes and see if she'll be able to just kind of self-settle herself. She did not. So I had been reading a lot that moms will put Band-Aids over their nipples and then kind of, you know, show the baby or their toddler and say, you know, like, ouchie, or no more milk, or the milk is gone. So I decided to do that. Probably after 20 minutes, I went ahead and went in, and she didn't immediately ask for the breast. So I kind of tried to just settle her in other ways, tried to rock her, tried to hold her. She did not want me to let her go. She did not want me to put her down. So what I did was I ended up sitting in our rocking chair, which is obviously what she associates with being nursed. And immediately, of course, she started pulling down my shirt, ripping at my chest, and then she saw the Band-Aids. And she looked so confused. She was just like, what are you, like, what is this? And I said, no more milk. The milk is gone. There's no more. And she was so upset. I don't think I've ever seen her so upset, and that is saying a lot for Kylan because she has her times, but I'd never seen her so upset. And she, like, you could just see the confusion and heartbreak, and just like, she was just so like, it hurt her so bad to know that there was no more milk. I tried to comfort her as best as I could, and after like 30 minutes, I was like, there's no way, she's not gonna settle down. She's just pissed off that I'm even here and I'm not gonna give her milk. So I was like, you know what, I just have to put her down. I have to leave. As soon as I left and shut the door, she completely stopped crying. She did not go down to sleep though for probably maybe another 15 to 20 minutes. And then she finally clonked out. So that was around 1:30, almost 1:30. And she did not wake up until 8:30 this morning. Like, she slept through that entire time. It was almost like she realized, like, okay, I know my mom is here. Like, I know she hasn't gone anywhere. She's here, but she's not gonna give me any milk. So there's really no reason for me to wake up, you know, otherwise. And she slept, and that's pretty much the longest that she's done, really, hardly ever. So I felt pretty confident about that. But what I will say is, in the moment, seeing how just so heartbroken she was, it definitely, I was literally this close and on the brink of just going ahead to nurse her. But I know that once you start, you can't go back, because then it just confuses them, and it's not going to help the situation at all if you are planning to wean cold turkey. So I just stuck to, stuck to my guns, but I was really battling myself in my head and saying like, is it even this worth it? Is nursing even that bad? It's not, but I just had to keep remembering that I was getting to a place of starting to feel resentful of our nursing relationship. And they say once you get to that place, like it's time to stop. Like it's not gonna be healthy for you at that point. So I just stuck to my guns, but I just remember thinking like, this does not feel natural at all. It does not feel natural to wean your baby cold turkey. And I still feel that way. But, for our situation, I just felt like I needed to do it cold turkey. And I feel pretty confident waking up this morning with, the way it went last night. I thought it would be so much worse. I thought she would be up for hours. I just thought it would be like a lot worse. And so this morning when she woke up, I did not wear a covered shirt. I had on, like a tank top, and I didn't have the Band-Aids on. So I kept thinking like, I don't know if she's gonna try to, ask for the boob, if she's gonna pull my shirt down, but she didn't. She didn't at all this morning. When I went to go get her out of bed, and then I came down, I made her breakfast, and she ate really, really good. And then nap time came. And so she started to get sleepy, and I knew that, it was time for nap time. And when I put her down, she wouldn't just go down. She was crying and fussy. So I held her thinking that I could just kind of rock her and, hold her. And she let me do that for a little while with her pacifier in her mouth. And then she did start reaching and pulling my shirt down. And I told her like, no, you remember, like there's no more milk. And she stopped reaching, and it's almost like it hit her like, oh, you're still doing this? Like, no, I thought that was just a last night thing. Like, why are you still refusing to give me my milk? And she got so upset again, and she was just so heartbroken, and you could tell like, she's just like, no, like, please, I thought that was a bad dream. But I learned from last night that staying in here for 30 minutes trying to soothe her without giving her milk is not gonna work. Just put her down and she'll figure it out. So I went ahead and just put her down. And again, when I closed the door, she immediately stopped crying. Then she did start back up, fussing a little bit, but I would say she probably fussed for like less than 5 minutes. And then when I came out, she was knocked out and she's still sleeping. So I think so far, I feel confident that it's going well, and I feel like I've made the right decision. I think that this full process, from what I've seen, will take about 3 days. So I'm gonna make a video for the next 2 days and just kind of document how that's going. But so far I feel pretty confident about it. Oh, and then as far as engorgement, it hasn't been bad. I've read people say like, oh, it was so painful, but I read that that typically starts around day 2 to 3 as well. So it's just the first day. It hasn't been painful, but I have definitely been getting, like, you can feel the ducts kind of clogging, super, super full, like just so full. I'm having confusion and trouble with, I know they say just pump enough for relief, but don't empty the breast. But every time I pump for relief, literally 5 minutes later, I'm back. My breasts have filled right back up to pretty much engorged. So I think I'm just gonna have to kind of really pump a lot. And then I've been trying to feed her the milk that I pump. Overall, for day 1, I would say weaning cold turkey has gone really fairly well. It hasn't been too bad. So I'll be back tomorrow and let you know how day 2 went, and you'll see how the night went tonight, and the rest of her naps and the rest of the day. So keep watching, and I hope this video was helpful. Thanks. Bye.